is going on, guys? My name is Johnny, I'm the coach of your Cologne Conkelders, and yes, I'm welcoming you to 2017, I guess. Yay! Fresh year, new start. We haven't had the greatest 2017 on this channel. I didn't upload a lot, well, because I didn't want to. Apart from GPC, and we didn't do that well in GPC as I would have liked to. But hey, as I said, fresh start. And here we are with the NPL Miners Tryout Tournament. Now, if you don't know, the NPL is one of the biggest Pokemon leagues, arguably one of the most competitive leagues out there. And as you know, we play draft format, so yeah. And the NPL Miners division is basically a second division in this league. And if you make it to Miners, you have a good chance, or if you do well in Miners, you have a chance of moving up to the NPL Majors, which is like the big league. But because a lot of people wanted to enter the NPL Minors this year, they have a Tryout tournament, similar to what we had with the GPC World Cup last year. So we're kind of familiar with that. We didn't do badly in that. So yes, we had a draft, and this is my recap of the draft. First of all, I'm not going to go too much in depth about the mons I picked. I'm just going to explain some things about basic synergy, because I expect that everyone who accidentally clicked one of my videos already knows a ton, or at least a bit, about draft format, so I don't have to get like every single move Manaphy, as you can see on screen, which was my first pick, gets. So yeah, my first pick was Manaphy. We had it in the GPC, for a full season, and I didn't use it the best, I think. I made a lot of mistakes I didn't want to make, actually. And I think we can greatly improve on our use of Manaphy in this format. One, I have better synergy. I think I built a solid defensive core around Manaphy, which is perfect, and I have the according switches into like grass and electric types that can keep up the pressure without being forced out immediately after. Like in GPC, if I wanted to switch into electric type, I had to go Gliscor or Gastrodon in the end, but especially Gliscor, and that was threatened out mostly by HPIs immediately after, so I couldn't keep up the pressure on my opponent by doubling and making according switches. So that was one of my goals in this draft, to patch that up. Apart from that, I mainly picked Manaphy because it was still around when it came to me, and I was 12th in this draft, so I had to get what good round ones were left for me, and I think Manaphy is actually a really, really good solid round 1 for that draft position. I can build around that for sure. Now next up, I kind of winged it, so I didn't have a specific draft plan until after my first 2 picks, which is why I wanted to look up what fell to me and pick accordingly. Now, in this format where you have so many different opponents you have to prep for, we have 8 mon drafts, so these 8 mons need to fulfill a lot of different roles and be able to adapt to a lot of different situations, and I wanted a Pokemon that can successfully do that, that can be a win condition in addition to Manaphy. Like, I was really keen on picking up a lot of different win condition and not make my team as top heavy as it was back in the GPC. So what I thought, when this next Pokemon fell to me, I was like really, really happy, because it's one of the most versatile Pokemon in draft format. It can literally do everything. It can be a sweeper, it can be one of the best defensive walls, it can just be a Stealth Rock support setter, it's a status absorber, it's a setup deterrent, and it beats setup sweepers. And it's also a fairy type, which I was really looking forward to. There are a lot of more fairies now in Gen 7, but I think this Pokemon is still one of the best, and I didn't think it would have dropped to round 2 in any Gen 6 draft. And we have Clefable. Clefable being the second one of my draft. I've already covered a lot of it. Magic Art, Unaware are great abilities it gets. Q-Charm, obviously, if I'm allowed to use that. I might double check that, or not. And then we have this vast move pool. It's a Cleric, it's a Wish Passer, it gets Knockoff, it gets Healing Wish. It has great options in Thunder Wave, although despite this being nerfed, it's still a great set. It's my first Stealth Rocker, which is awesome. Yeah, great coverage, and obviously the Fairy Stab. It has Belly Drum, Verge, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so really happy to get Clefable round 2, and Clefable and Manaphy are like, both are really, really bulky, and both are really, really offensive and win conditions at the same time, and I can make both win conditions in literally every match, so my opponents are pretty hard pressed to prep for both of those, which I like. I love having this. Now, as I said, with my third pick, this was the point where I started getting a draft plan, and my draft plan at this point was to sort of build around Manaphy, but not focus on Manaphy specifically. So I wanted to cover Manaphy's weaknesses, and I wanted to do so in a way that I can keep up pressure on my opponents. Meaning I can switch into a grass type move into a grass type move or a strong electric type move without worrying about my mon being damaged too much, and at the same time this mon being able to threaten out my opponent. And one Pokemon that does this beautifully for both those types threatening Manaphy is Thunderous Therian formation. Thunderous Therian has vast coverage options. It's an offensive behemoth with 145 special attack and 101 speed. It just outpaces Manaphy, which is great. I don't have to go for speed types with Manaphy as long as I can safely outspeed with Thunderous. Volt Absorb gives me an electric immunity, and obviously my flying typing means I resist grass. So this thing resists both things Manaphy's weak to, or is even immune. Further, I have a decent bulk with 79 HP. It's the bulkier of the Thundies, I think. And this 145 is just amazing. Mixed options with 105 attack is also valid. Gives me a strong check to fairy types with the 145 special attacking Sludge Wave or Sludge Bomb or Flash Cannon, so I don't have to worry about fairies too much. It also resists Steel for Clefable, and it gives me my first ground immunity and my first Volt Switcher or U-Turner. So yeah, all in all. Oh yeah, did I mention that Thunderous T is a win condition? Nasty Plot, Agility, Choice Scarf. This thing is a monster, and you guys will see how this turns out later in the draft. Well, no, they in the draft, but during the tournament, I was meant to say. Cool. 3 months gone. 5 to go. Next one. Next Pokemon I chose was my boy Lucario. Now, this was another one of those picks where I was like, if it falls to me, I might get this Pokemon, because Lucario is... I talked about versatility in the beginning of the draft, and Lucario is like a definition of versatility. There are few to no drafts that Lucario can't sweep, especially with the right team support. On my draft, in this combination, Lucario, it doesn't only get team support, but it also gives a lot of team support. Because Lucario, first of all, it's a steel type. It gets rid of all those pesky fairy types in the other drafts. There are like so many good fairies right now that I absolutely wanted an offensive steel types that can threaten the fairies and break through them. Yes, I'm relying on Iron Tail, but that's only if I use the physical moveset, and even then I have Bullet Punch. Also, I have Flash Cannon for my special moveset to deal with other fairies, and Lucario can definitely deal with those. Strong Fighting Stab is nice. Again, it gives me mixed options, so versatility is given. Base 90 speed isn't bad. Great ability isn't justified. Gives me a Poison Switch in. And the vast amount of priority moves Lucario gets also helps Manaphy, because this thing is able to revenge kill a lot of things a lot of fast and more frail things that can destroy Manaphy and check it offensively. So I really like Lucario as a pickup. I have the ground weakness covered already, I have the fighting weakness covered, I have the fire weakness covered. So I should be good to go on that part. Apart from that, Lucario is pretty much self-sufficient. Like, it's always a threat. In the late game, Lucario can basically clean up every team if I manage to bring the right set. And it gives me my 4th potential win condition in this draft. So right now, I have 4 months, I have decent bulk, I have 4 months with setup options, I have successful pivots, I have good type synergy. So I'm really happy with this so far. In the next draft, or next part of the draft, I was looking to get some more supportive mons, like that can also fulfill their respective roles. As you can notice, I wanted to get I didn't have hazard removal, I didn't have another hazard setter than Clefable, so I definitely wanted to cover that up. I didn't have a Pokemon with speed above base 101, which I wanted to cover up. And last but not least, I didn't have I wanted another Pokemon with Thanks the Fable that has access to really reliable recovery and that can actually fulfill multiple roles. Now I spoiled my monster, I'm stupid, but hey, who cares? Arcanine was my next pick. Arcanine is a beautiful, beautiful monster. Anyone who knows me knows that I was a part of PokeRob's front office in GPC Season 5? No, GPC Season 4. We were in GPC Season 5, never mind. And this Arcanine is beautiful. Arcanine is less offensive than Entei. Sits at the same speed tier, or basically because Entei has always run Adamant. It has access to extreme speed, so this gives me my second extreme speed user, which is also brilliant in this format, which gives me another revenge killer. It switches into offensive fire type, so it takes that pressure away from Manaphy. It switches into of grass types that want to threaten my Manaphy. It gives me a strong offensive fire type. If I want Intimidate and Will-O-Wisp, make it a beautiful physical wall with access to reliable recovery in Morning Sun. Arcanine all-around great pick. Obviously weak to rock, so I have 2 rock weaknesses now. I needed to cover that next. And yeah, so Arcanine with mixed options, and the Choice Bandit set can just plow through teams. E-Speed is a potential win con if I didn't want to make Lucario my win con for any reasons. I get I get really solid coverage. I have options like Sub, Will-O-Wisp, or even Flank Charge. So yeah, I love Arcanine as a Pokemon. It's one of my favorite Pokemon anyway, and I'm finally going to be able to use this in draft, and I think it blends in beautifully with the rest of my team for now. Next, I sort of started to build it an Edgequake weakness, and I wanted one Pokemon that at least isn't weak to Earthquake, that though at least resists Earthquake, but isn't weak to Stone Edge, or vice versa. So I picked up Serena, because Serena actually gives me hazard removal and rapid spin as well. Now I'm not too sure about this pick, in all honesty. I'm not. Might be good, might not be. I have to try it out. And main reason I picked Serena as my hazard remover was the fact that I didn't want to pick a flying type to enhance my electric weakness and my rocks weakness. Most other hazard removers that were available at this point were either water types and Blastoise, I think mainly, or flying types, and Mandibuzz and Crobat, and both, despite giving me a grass resist, wouldn't have given me an Edgequake check, which Serena possibly can do, which wouldn't have given me a electric resist, and also would have been weak to rocks before they can get them away. So I think overall Serena is a solid pick. 120 base attack isn't bad. The bulk is usable with 98 defenses and 72 HP. HP could be a bit better. The attack is great. Speed is also a bit lackluster. I hope I can make it work still. We have a really solid physical move pool actually, with U-turn, which gives me my second pivot mon, with acrobatics, high jump kick, the cool move drop kick, which lowers attack of your opponent when hit by that, so it can check a lot of physical attackers successfully. Drop kick in combination with Arcanine's Intimidate seems really nice, especially because those two have a really solid type synergy. And strong high jump kick, play rough, and yeah, rapid spin. It is a dual screen setter. It has reliable recovery in synthesis. So there are some things I can do with this. Maybe I'll bring Brass Whistle or Teeter Dance. Yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely not sure how Serena will do, but I see the potential it has for my draft. So probably not my favorite, but I think I can make it work this draft. Cool. 2 months to go. I wanted a secondary ground immunity. I wanted a secondary stealth rocker. I wanted a secondary check to fighting types, despite Arcanine being able to take on most fighting types, since most of them are physical. And I wanted a slow U-turner that can get me out into my offensive behemoth, like Manaphy, Thundurus, or Lucario, or even Arcanine or Serena if I choose to run them like that. So, and one thing I'm really familiar with is Mesprit, and the thing I had before Mesprit was my boy Yuxi. And Yuxi in contrast to Masprit, has a few advantages, few disadvantages. One, more bulk. More bulk means I can get stat rocks more reliably. I'm harder to pursue trap, not forced to run berries as often. Um, slow U-turning is more effective, despite Yuxi having 95 speed, which actually isn't bad because it gives it certain utility options that Masprit with base 80 doesn't have. I can hit a lot of quad weaks with this thing still. The move pool is a bit weaker, especially on the special side, pun intended. But it gives me what I want. It gives me a third U-turner, gives me heal belt support, gives me knockoff support, gives me memento support, gives me an additional potential win condition in Calm Mind. Shout out to Esther. And the move pool still is usable. It got Giga Drain in this gen, which I don't think it got earlier, which is pretty cool. Foul play is decent. Thunder Wave always nice. Psychic Stab. I have to be a bit wary about substitute with this thing if it is my main check to something. But in between this and Clefable, I don't have to worry about fighting types too much, which is cool. And the slow U-turning is going to be key, especially a pivot with this with these strong mixed defensive. I can just throw in and mold to basically check any mon I want, which is like huge in this 8-mon draft format that you have this. Now, last pick. One, you noticed I don't have a Mega. You noticed I didn't pick up a fast mon yet, but like faster than Thunderous. However, I have two really strong priority users, which is something. So, my last pick is... well, let me start this differently. I wanted a fast Mega, and I wanted a fast Mega that doesn't conflict with the rest of my types. The fast Megas that were still available and hadn't been picked yet were mostly flying types, like Mega Pidgeot, and there was Mega Diancie, but I also had a Fairy already. Like the one thing that stuck out to me that I thought might be super good in this draft format for a couple different reasons, and the Mega that I personally thought wouldn't be picked is Mega Absol. Mega Absol is interesting. I've never gotten to use it. I loved how Lost used it in the GBA. It has great mixed defensive, gives me speed of 115, which is absolutely huge, which is just fast enough to outpace a lot of the common threats in this format. Not the fastest threats, but those faster threats are usually more frail, so I have a really good amount of priority options in Lucario, Arcanine, and now also my Absol, as well as two solid T-Wave users in Clefable and Yuxi. Sucker Punch for Absol obviously great, knockoff spam always nice from 115 stab. Magic Bounce gives me a lot of different options if I can bring it in on status moves that try to cripple my defensive mons or my offensive mons. It gives me a mixed attacker again, so pretty much everything on my draft barring Serena can go mixed, and Clefable probably, can go mixed, which is awesome. It gives me my next priority user. It gives me a Pursuit Trapper, which is so huge for things like Lucario, or being a fighting type and getting rid of faster psychic types or Lotties that try to switch into my Manaphy. It can successfully pursue the checks I need to. It can revenge kill a lot of the things. And one thing about Mega Absol is the speed buff helps it a lot. I don't need to run Sucker Punch to be able to revenge kill the mons I need, so it gives it a lot more versatility and freedom in its moveset it can use. If I can get up an SD with this, it's basically GG for most opponents. So, Absol is an absolutely huge threat, and I'm really looking forward to using it, so I'm really hyped, and it gives me another win con. So like, now 7 of my 8 mons can be potential win cons, and I'm sure I can find a way that Serena is a win con in one game as well. So yes, that is my draft. We have Manaphy, Clefable, Thunderous, Lucario, Arcanine, Serena, Yuxi, and Mega Absol. Really happy with this. Arcanine covers Absol's Fairy weakness, and Lucario, Clefable, and Yuxi cover the fighting weakness, which is beautiful. Bug weakness is covered in between Arcanine and Thunderous and Lucario. So yeah, I think my draft has really good synergy. I think I can prep around most matchups with this, and I think my draft is going to give my opponents a lot of trouble prepping for it. Now, in the tournament is structured with two divisions with 16 people and 4 pools with each 4 people. And in my pool there are King Bob, Insanity, and Super Mio. Shout out to the nicknames on the Discord chat. So I started prepping for the 3 matches. I'm not finished yet, but I'm really hyped to face those 3 guys. They have scary matchups. I have to face off against Mega Gardevoir again, which is like a menace. I hate facing Mega Gardevoir, but we have to work around it, so we will. Until then, my name is Johnny. I'm the coach of your Kalunka Kelders. Cheers. I'm out.